was raised a country boy in the mountains I call home. Western North Carolina is where I learned to get along. And Papa taught me how to be a southern gentleman. Granny showed me all the strength of a woman's gentle hands. And Mama taught me how to face the world on headstrong. She said life will bring you problems, you gotta keep on moving on. And I wanna go back to my family and to my home. I wanna go back. That's why I sing this song. I wanna go back.
This is not the first table like this I've painted, but I got this from some people who want it repainted. It's an old table, so the first thing that I did, they want it repainted like the other one that I did. But I like to know how much space I'm going to take, and I have placed a couple of pieces of tape on here to sort of give me a boundary. I usually put a lot of grapes in. If you notice, grapes are very easy to paint, and they're also very great fillers for a still life. If you look at art history books, you'll find that every still life I think ever painted has got a bunch of grapes in it. I'm going to sort of scatter my color areas in using those colors. Probably be an apple, could be a peach. I'll put another one down here, and I believe I'll put in some burgundy colored grapes over here. That side will be burgundy, this side over here will be a shade of blue or maybe a purple. It depends on what I need when I get there. This is very thin watercolor that I'm using on this. This is just to give me a notion, a direction of where I'm going to go when I get busy. This is the second phase of these little still lifes that I'm putting on this table. I'm going to start first with this one, which, as you can tell, I hope, will be a peach. On these, I'm going to make this one pretty much peach colored, which means somewhere between yellow and red. So I've got 5 peaches here. As the basket underneath will get a base prime coat of yellow. To paint grapes, instead of painting them individually, I just cover the space with the basic color. These will go on this side. They'll make a very nice contrast with those peach colors that we'll have. Now the second phase, they don't have to be truly dry underneath, but this yellow is pretty much dry now, and I can put a little bit more on it just to intensify it. I paint it in a deep red tone. Then I take a little yellow and put on the far edge. Then I put more yellow down here on the bottom area, hemisphere I guess. And I now half load my brush with white and that blue that's underneath the top coat of the grapes. And first thing I'm going to do is simply indicate that these are grapes. They look just like marbles practically. I let it dry, and I go over here where I started some others in that burgundy color, and I don't try to make them all look alike because then they look like they're artificial. So if you notice, if you look at a bunch of grapes, some of them are a little bit riper than others. Some of them may actually starting to shrivel. You've decided that the light source, in this case, is going to come from above left. So I want all the high spots of the light to show on the grapes at approximately the same position on each grape. This is a great big old rustic type coffee table, but the thing that was good about it was that it was not rocky, it was not shaky, it's a very solid piece. I painted a basket on here, then I started filling in with apples and pears and peaches, oh my. And so I will either put small fruit or probably mostly flowers. I put a couple of roses in so far, and some of these, I don't know what you call these. I think they're called Queen Anne's lace. Anyway, it's just a white, sort of a shapeless mass that fills the space well. So then I began to add color to the shapes of my fruit that I'm putting on here. For instance, this is going to be a peach when it's all finished, which means it's yellowish, a real white yellow color, deep reds that work into, you might call it a deep magenta, or anyway, it's a purplish red, and it gives me lots of space. Draw a dividing line there, and then on the other side of that, I'll put a tiny little bit of white running down here, which will turn that into that shape that I want. Of course, in the entire thing, the light source comes from your top left side and comes down, so that your shadows are on the bottom right side coming up. This will help you delineate the shape of the fruits. You put in some white highlights, not much. Alright, I've mixed my gold color, which I'm going to use to set in where the leaves go. They will not be this color, but this is just a mixture of yellow and brown, which makes me a good color to figure out where I want to put my leaves. Now we'll have to let them dry a little bit, so I'm going to go over some of these others that I've started. And you'll notice I kind of double load that brush. I put the brown on one side and the yellow on the other. Blend them a little bit, sometimes right on the surface that I'm going to paint. Jump over now to doing a dewdrop. Dewdrops, of course, they're not usually round. They're usually kind of, it's water going downhill, so you've got to indicate that. And you don't put it on a peach, because peaches don't generally get dewdrops because they're fuzzy. So I'll put it on this pear right here. And the first thing you do is to remember, don't make it too big, and take that half-loaded brush of white paint, put a hard bottom on it and a soft top. Sometimes I'll add a little bit more of the highlight color down there. Now, that's a dewdrop.
I was raised a country boy in the mountains I call home. Western North Carolina is where I learned to get along. And Papa taught me how to be a southern gentleman. Granny showed me all the strength of a woman's gentle hands. And Mama taught me how to face the world on headstrong. She said life will bring you problems, you gotta keep on moving on. And I wanna go back to my family and to my home. I wanna go back. That's why I sing this song. I wanna go back. Leave the world outside in the cold. Down tobacco.